Hey everybody, so today I have somewhat of a special treat for you all. Notice that's why we're not in the kitchen. So welcome to my living room today. It's a little bit more space for what I have planned out. So, maybe like 2 weeks ago, a friend of mine was asking, we were having a conversation, we were talking, and he asked me, he was like, well, how does a person get started with opera? Like, how does somebody know that they want to be in music and sing, and what is that world like? And how did you, decide that that's something that you wanted to do? So a little light bulb went off after that conversation, and I was like, yeah, that's true. There's kind of a story in that, at least, for me to tell, for other people to hear, for other singers to tell, because it's all a little bit different from person to person and from singer to singer. So I was like, boom, I'm going to make a little video blog to describe and talk about my first experiences with opera and how I knew that I was probably going to end up being a performer in that realm. Okay, so 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh wait, hold on, a setting changed. I have to change the set. Hold on. So, I don't know if I'm up too high now, I never know. But anyway, so with me it started, it was probably around 1991, 92. I was about 13 years old. And my music teacher at the time, actually it wasn't even my music teacher, it was just your primary teacher, secondary teacher, I don't really know the rules of all those. But one day she came to class and she was like, hey everybody, like gather around. I'm going to tell you about where we're going to go next week, and it's going to be cool. So, we all kind of like walked over, picked our nose, sat down, like, what is she talking about? We're going to go somewhere? So anyway, she came over and she said, do you guys know what opera is? No, we're all like 4, 5, 6, okay, like 13. But no one knows what opera is, okay? We knew that there was Bugs Bunny, we knew that he did this thing with Elmer Fudd, that he had on this chest thing and she had these horns. That's all we knew at 13, 11 years old. So she passed out these forms and she was like, all right, little boys and girls, now I want you to take this home and get your parents to sign it, and then once you bring it back, we're going to go to the opera. So I took this form, and I still didn't really know what opera was. I took this form home to my mom and dad, and I remember reading on there Mozart. I saw the word Mozart. I was like, okay, well that's kind of something cool. Whatever. So I took it home. My mom and dad looked it over. They were like, okay, yeah, you can go to the opera. That's fine. They signed it. And I remember that the teacher said, like, and this opera is called La Clemenza di Tito. And I was like, Clemenza di Tito? I was like, whoa, when she first said that, I was embarrassed because I was like, should she be talking about that, like, in school? Like, the what of what? I thought it had something to do with, like, reproductive health. I did, okay? Just the honest truth. So anyway, I took it home. My parents signed it, so I was like, they're fine with it. I'll go see this song about reproductive health. It was that time of, a person's life where they're learning about that kind of stuff, and I was like, okay, fine. All my classmates are going to be there. We're all going to do this. It's going to be fine. So we get there. Dallas, Texas, where I'm all from. Music hall, Fair Park. We show up, we get off the bus, we walk down, we get inside. Okay. You don't take 13-year-olds to see a 4-hour opera. Okay? Teacher of my past, I love you, but that was probably a critical mistake. We were bored. I mean, like, my eyes were like rolling in the back of my head. Like I couldn't keep my Lord, like just my thoughts were like in Mars. And I was like, why are we here? This has nothing to do with reproductive health. Why am I alive? I'm hungry. Do we get a break? Why are we here? This is like prison. Then, after the intermission, we all woke up and wiped our noses and whatever and did our things, went to the bathroom, came back. We sat down and then like the 27th act started. And we were like, oh my God. And my teacher was just like, boys and girls, just hang in there. It's gonna be great. 97 minutes later is when it happened. I was sitting down. I literally was like looking at a watch, a clock, something to give me what sense of time it was, a sundial, something, because I felt like I was in there ever since I was born, okay? The last act, the last big aria from one of the principal characters, okay, the soprano, she came out, she had on this awesome, huge blue dress. This is what I remember from everything. She had on this huge blue dress. And so, some of you have heard this story, right? She had on this huge blue dress. Blue like Hildegard Behrens in Ida Mineo from the Metropolitan back in the 80s. Or Bruce Ford when he was singing Mitridate, and that big, I mean, this dress was huge. It looked huge from way back where I was, so I knew that on stage it had to be like 24 years across. Okay, so she's singing away. She's singing. She goes to the front. She takes a couple steps. She's looking at the crowd. She's looking at that man down there with the stick doing all this crazy stuff. She reaches out. She fell. She fell on stage. But guess what? Guess what? She got up. She got up. And her wig was all crooked from the fall. And she was still singing away, trying to regain her composure. And she stood up, right? And then she goes like, crowd, like if you thought that I can't overcome that, you don't know me as a singer that I know myself as. So she took another step and she tripped on her dress. Again! I am in the back with my friend Paco, Keith, Jennifer, and Louis. We are dying. Every one of us was like laughing, and the teacher was like, boys and girls, please be quiet. Oh, this is not what's supposed to happen. I remember the woman in front of me saying, oh my. I remember the man down in the few aisles ahead, he buzzed out laughing, and he was like, oh, damn. She gets up one last time. She is all over the place, but she is still singing, okay? She's a bit distracted. She goes and she turns, and as she turns, her dress gets caught again. And what happens? What happened? She fell a third time on stage. I literally could not be controlled. Neither could my friends, and neither could that experience. From that moment on, I knew that in some capacity I needed and had to be involved with that world on stage. It was just way too much going on. She was like focused like a mad woman, but she got up. Everyone in the chorus was still like trying not to laugh. And that's when I knew that like performance is just one of those things that it's crazy and it's wild and there's a place for everybody. And I knew that somehow I figured that I would try my best to be a part of it. And that's when I decided that I wanted to sing, and that's when I wanted to do opera and be a part of this crazy world. And okay, so that's my story and that's my experience. I'm going to put a link down here to those dresses that I was talking about, Hildegard Behrens and Bruce Ford. So if you are able to see those, please do. They are massive. So imagine falling not once, not twice, but 3 times on stage. Okay. Bye.